Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing the S.H.Figuarts Vegeta old style battle clothes. Basically this is the Namek Vegeta at the second half of the arc, and while it's not the most iconic look for Vegeta, some of the most iconic things happened while he was in this look, if that makes sense. But it was something that was noticeably missing from the lineup of Figuarts, same as the previous Namek Vegeta, and so it is nice that they finally addressed that with the modern face sculpting and detail of S.H.Figuarts. And while I have heard things about this figure previously, I can sort of confirm them now, that the proportions are a bit weird, and in general Vegeta proportions for Figuarts are a bit weird, but I think they're especially odd here due to the size of the chest and torso to accommodate like swapping parts, and I get that, but the chest design worked with the previous Namek Vegeta because of the style of the armor and the big shoulder pads. It sort of masked the design a bit, but here there's nowhere to hide and it looks a little bit weird. But we'll be getting into that shortly. So out of the box, here's what Vegeta comes with. And it's an okay loadout, honestly. He comes with 5 faces, swappable chest parts for the front and back to show battle damage, folded arms accessory, as well as an assortment of hands, which are sort of the general assortment that you'd get for a figure like this. But taken out of the box and put on a display here is Vegeta, and in general he looks pretty good. It depends on the pose for like how awkward his chest looks, but in general I think they achieved the look pretty well. I do like that it is yet another unique hair sculpt for Vegeta. This isn't just a complete copy from the 10,000 power level one, the early Namek Vegeta one, which had an incredible head sculpt and incredible faces, but I do think it's cool that this one is also a unique head sculpt and face style, which also means you can't transfer them between each other, but I do kind of get it, and I do like that they are at least doing some unique stuff between releases. And for the most part, this is one of the more unique Vegetas. The legs and arms are similar to what we've seen before, but at least the torso and head are unique. But all of the paintwork that is there is pretty good. All of the chest detail and paint is nice, especially on the swappable parts, because the Dragon Ball line in general doesn't use that much paint, so it is nice to have some cool painted pieces here or there. Now we'll jump right into posability, because I did not do size comparison. So it's got a ball joint at the head and neck. The neck is on a bit of a hinge and it's a bit awkward to get his head just straight. Arm can move out that far. Swivel at the upper arm, bend at the elbow, hinge at the wrist. He can't really butterfly his arms at all, which kinda sucks, and you'll see that later. The upper chest cannot really bend forward at all. It can go side to side and back a bit, but it cannot move forward, and that is due to the swappable accessory gimmick. There is a swivel at the waist. He can do the splits that far, which sucks, and he can kick forward and back that far, which is also not very good. There's a swivel at the upper thigh, bend at the knee, as well as a pretty poor pivot and hinge at the ankle and toe, which is pretty standard for the legs of S.H.Figuarts Vegeta. They really need to revise this thing entirely. Hopefully that upcoming Daima Vegeta will address that, but yes, his legs are not good. And in general, the chest design does not look great either. I get what they were going for, but it does limit the figure quite a bit. Now, for faces, Vegeta comes with a standard serious look out of the box. Comes with a shouting face, a teeth gritted angry / stunned face where he's sweating, and you've got a cool vein popping on his forehead. He's got an eyes closed sort of sleeping face, as well as his teeth gritted crying face, which is pretty much the reason why this figure exists. It was to achieve this moment where he's absolutely accepted his fate and he's actually crying. For the swappable body parts, you just pop off the front chest piece. Then I couldn't really get to the front until I pulled off the back parts. So you pull off the top of the back as well. Then you pull off the bottom part of the back, and then you can arc the back backwards so you can then get into that front piece. And you can see sort of how it all works. And it sucks that he's got better articulation here now, so he can actually bend forward. His butterfly's actually there, and not really hindered by anything. Kinda sucks, and I get why, but it still sucks. Like, other figures in the line have had alternate chest pieces to accommodate for butterflies, so you can have like a really cool aesthetic, but then you swap out the one for actual articulation so you can pose it. But like, this doesn't have that, so it just kind of sucks. But with those accessories, you can get him into some pretty okay poses. You can achieve his little crying pose just right, and the detail here is nice. And again, the battle damaged parts look the best, because we don't usually get stuff like that, and all the paintwork on it is nice. His folded arms accessory is the same as the previous Namek Vegeta, so you pop off the arms entirely and plug them back in. It is a part that can split in the middle for the folded arms, so you just line them up once you've plugged in the pieces, and you can get his little sleeping pose just fine. But you can't really get him into like a proper Gallic Gun pose, or I know it's too early for it, but like Final Flash or something like that. He cannot butterfly his arms close to his chest enough, and if you do, then you sort of like bend his elbows in a really awkward way, and it just does not look right, and it is just a pain in the ass. Basically, his articulation makes most of the figure really, really annoying. It also makes some of the promo images just really hard to achieve, like even tightening his glove. It didn't work quite right, and I didn't like that. And in general, I didn't really like this figure. It's fine. I don't see much reason for it being a P. Bandai figure. It's just like okay. I get it in terms of like it being very niche and not a lot of people would want it, so it's P. Bandai due to that. But like, it's not a very good figure. If you had to choose between Namek Vegetas, the previous one was just way, way, way better, even if one of his faces was sold separately with another figure. This one is fine, and it's there to complete a set, but I don't think it's anything too impressive. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time.